Megaherzzz. You're listening to Megaherzzz on 4ZZZ.
You're tuned into Megaherzzz 102.1 FM. You're joined in the studio today by Sissy. My pronouns are she, her, and my wonderful co-host.
I'm Sarah, and my pronouns are they, them.
We have a very good show lined up today. I've just received a message from our guests, so they are very close.
We have guests, and they're on their way.
Multiple guests today.
I'm going to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land that we're broadcasting from right now, the Turrabul and the Jaggera people. And, I'd like to acknowledge their elders and especially aunties. I'd like to acknowledge aunties today. Aunties that are past aunties and emerging aunties, and just shout out to Auntie Power.
And we have the absolute honour of having in the studio our friend Bron.
Hello.
Welcome to 4ZZZ. Welcome to Megaherzzz. And we have you on today because you have a special show coming up for Melt. Can you please tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. My name's Bron, and I'm doing a show with my dear sister Mary. It's called Just Big Enough, and it's part of the Melt development program. So we applied for the Melt development program. We're very fortunate to get that. So that gave us some grant money and support to put on this show, and we're doing it at Volcana Circus.
Yay! So exciting. Can you give us a little teaser about what this show might be about, given the name Just Big Enough?
Only just. So I've only just recently moved up from Canberra, and my sister and I both grew up in Canberra, but she's been a Bris Vegas resident for a little bit longer. Growing up in a very small town, small city, I guess, if you could call Canberra a city, and small queer scene. We're kind of poking fun at that, and I'm drag kinging, which is now an adjective, verb, adjective.
It is now. We're verbing it.
We're verbing it. Thank you. We're verbing it. Drag kinging for the first time. Having been super inspired by the performing arts and queer performing scene up here, and a little bit in Canberra and around the place. So drag kinging, and then my sister has made various sock puppets. So we have a little puppet theatre, and Sissy, you saw the little preview yesterday, so...
It was marvellous, and all I have to say is if you don't see it, you're missing out. It was so much fun, and it was so fantastic. Very, very gender-bending. There was so much wonderful stuff going on, and it was just fantastic.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we have drag kinging. We have sock puppeting. We have, and this just sounds amazing. I think I have to see this show.
Yes, I hope you can. And we are pulling it together, having I think we're both kind of... Mary's done a bit more kind of theatre stuff than I have, but we're both sort of little drama kids at heart and spent our childhoods making up plays and doing little shows with our big sister, who used to kind of boss us around mostly. So now that it's just the two of us, we're like, oh, shit.
Well, I'm surprised that you aren't it sounds like you're both the theatre kid, but you... was so amazing. I was blown away by how well drag kinging came to you.
Thank you.
I was convinced you were
being
cowboy.
A toxic man, it just really comes naturally.
And you're doing this at Volcana. Will there be circusing as well?
Great question. I'd like to not insult the very talented circus community and say that there's circusing, because there definitely is no actual circus talent. Although, I shouldn't say that. Mary's quite, athletic, I guess, circus. Anyway, flexible, whatever. So we're doing there's a lot of physical movement in the show, but the tie to Volcana is that we both, Mary's been doing classes there for the past, couple of years, and then I had been up to Brisbane every time I visited, would go and see shows at Volcana, just absolutely loved it, loved the community, felt so welcome and safe there. I did a class with them last semester. They do it in blocks.
Which class?
I did acro with my sister, yeah. And so, yeah, we found that really fun. And then my sister's partner also does videography for Volcana. It's just like such a great community. So I think even when I'm like at a stretch, can't even really do a handstand, I actually just definitely can't do a handstand. I know. Maybe that's what I need to do. But
I feel like a bit of that acro came out. I think that there is a bit of acro involved.
All right. But yeah, it's more just that we love that community, felt really safe performing there. They've been really generous to let us use the space because that, you know, we're on a bit of a shoestring budget. So really generous to let us use the space. And then we're having a little intermission in the show. And so then people can go and buy drinks, and all of that is going to support Volcana and all their amazing programs. They support so many queer youth, and yeah, it's just really awesome. Awesome place.
And you're part of the MELT development program.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What does that entail? How did that come about, and what does it mean?
It means we've gotten a bit of financial backing from those guys, which without we would not a show. So that's super awesome. And then we've had a bit of support from Abby. Shout out to Abby from Melt Festival. She's such a queen. She's been helping us quite a bit. And then also, just we've had the opportunity. I did one little like Zoom session that was a little bit about how to promote your show and having like consistent branding type stuff, and a little bit of that. But it's been a fair bit of Mary and I just like being like, okay, I guess we'll just put some gas on this and go for it.
So good. Love it. Can you tell the audience when they can come see you, how they can find tickets?
Totally. So, come for a laugh. It's pretty short show, 2 Sunday nights, so it's not clashing with the big dogs that are on the Fridays and Saturdays. And it's 6 p.m. for 6:30 show, 6 p.m. doors for a 6:30 show on Sunday the 26th of October and November 2nd at Volcana Circus. And you can find us at we've called our little duo that as of now I guess is a collective. It's just my sister and I. Me just shit posting all the time on Instagram and Facebook at No Shoe No Show. So No Shoe being the sock and No Show being me hopefully showing up.
Yes. Well, you made it here.
Made it here. Yeah, thank you, Sissy. So No Shoe No Show on Instagram, and the show is called Just Big Enough, and we're on the Melt website under Just Big Enough, but then and there's tickets in links in that and on our Instagram and Facebook and blah 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 through Humanitics.
Yay, so exciting. Anything else you want to add?
I don't know. Should I do a quick she-riff impression?
Oh,
yes,
So I'm a cowboy for the show. It's set in the wild, wild town of Smashville. And there's mentions to Wet and Wild, which I'm very inspired by at the Gold Coast. And is that the Gold Coast? That is the Gold Coast. Yeah, okay, good. I'm new to Queensland, guys. So my character she-riff is he's just like a bit of bloke, hey? Oh yeah. It's really hard to do this without swearing because he swears a lot.
You can swear. We just give you a language warning. Language warning. We have some swearing coming up right now. Block your ears if you're sensitive.
Oh, g'day, Sheila. Fucking looking pretty good today, aren't you, babes? Yeah, sissy. Give me a little smile, would you?
I
look so much prettier when you smile.
He's in the studio.
But trust me, he transforms. He has a queer transformation.
Fantastic. And that is the most toxic masculinity you're ever going to hear on Megaherzzz.
And it's from me, a non-binary little bitch from Canberra.
Perfect. So excited. Okay, plug it one more time. Where, when?
We are No Shoe No Show. Our show is called Just Big Enough. It's at Volcana in Morningside. Yep. Morningside, thank you. Yep. 6 p.m, 26th of October, 2nd of November. Stop hitting the table.
This Sunday.
Come at least once, please. Maybe twice.
Okay, thanks so much for coming in, Bron.
Thanks for having me, babes.
The queens are ready. Miss First Nation returns to crown the fiercest black drag superstar. Expect glittering performances, cultural pride, and unstoppable talent as First Nations queens and sister girls shine centre stage. Don't miss this iconic competition celebrating black excellence and drag power. Saturday, 25th of October, part of Melt Festival. Grab your tickets now at melt.org.au. Melt is a proud sponsor of 4ZZZ.
You're listening to Megaherzzz with Sarah and Sissy, and we have our second guest for the day today. We would like to welcome us in the studio, Affi from the One Spirit, One Heart Healing Circle that is happening here in Brisbane, coming up on October the 25th. Hi, Affi. Thanks for joining us in the studio.
Hi, I'm honoured to be Megaherzzz for Triple Z.
Thank you for coming in. Could you tell us the One Spirit, One Heart Healing Circle that is coming up? Can you tell us what is happening? What is actually going on with that?
One Spirit, One Heart is a traditional custom, like the yarn circles that Aboriginal women have traditionally had as a big part of their healing process, and we want to honour that. It is, so One Heart, One Spirit is all about honouring women's stories of recovering from sexual and physical violence. So ultimately, it's Domestic and Family Violence Awareness Month this month, and it's about participating in that form of activism. And we're starting out with a Welcome to Country, Acknowledgement of Country, because this is about centering Indigenous women's voices and experiences. As we know that unfortunately Aboriginal women's voices are left out on these discussions. So it will start at 12. The intros, we're going to provide a safe space for women in the ways that women need. We have kids spaces, we have therapeutic spaces, we have some beverages. We're going to make sure that we have mental health people there, first aid people there, and also marshals to provide a sense of security and sort of alleviate the police presence that we are required to interact and liaise with them. So we want them to know that they don't need to be here on the day, but we do invite them, as we're required to do, with our notice of intention. So those are all the things that I would say as a basic encompassment.
So you're the co-coordinator of the Brisbane part of this event, and one of the things that you're doing is you're in charge of the marshalling. And I must say, you mentioned earlier that you were part of the She Matters rally, and we did actually attend that one, the Megaherzzz crew, and it was a really well organised event. And I noticed the crowd care was excellent, and you really did have that. You could tell that you were looking after people, and so
that was
congratulations. And also, why is that important, do you think?
Well, I would just like to say, while it looked really well organised, we were having a lot of struggles. The weather was crazy, but the marshalling was so important, is a huge focus, because we really want women to feel safe in these spaces to protest, to speak. And a lot of women and people all over the country, I think, are feeling super unsafe with the sort of political climate that's going on. So we are still seeing men yell derogatory comments at such a sacred space of women speaking their truths. There are so many people who are still angry at women, and you'll see Sherelle Moody, the sort of hatred that she gets. It's bizarre, and a lot of women are afraid to attend these events. So being almost militant in how we marshalled for the rally, we had walkie-talkies, we had people inner and outer parameters, and that's the same that we want to bring to this event. Just for everyone coming to know that your safety is so important, because the silence that so many people feel they have to maintain after experiencing abuse of all kinds, it's detrimental. It's
absolutely, yeah. So you mentioned the Red Heart movement, and so the event is organised by the Red Heart movement and by Yerwan Bullen.
So the whole event is the vision of Auntie Tanya. So Yerwan Bullen is a special women's centre in Canberra, provided to provide day-to-day support for Aboriginal women who are recovering from sexual and physical violence. It also supports incarcerated women as they navigate life in and out of the prison system. Women in this centre, it only has capacity for 60 women at a time, but they have access to food, trauma care, clothing, showers, art and yarning. And I think that's such an important part of Indigenous and Aboriginal culture that I'm European Australian, that we could really benefit from adapting and being more respectful of and participating in. So I think, it was Auntie Tanya's vision to have people yarning, and now Maganjan is going to be the only city in the country who's actually able to host a physical event. And
we did talk about this last week, that it was an event being held in Canberra and in Brisbane, and I did see the news that just this morning that the Canberra part of the event is it being postponed?
Yeah, postponed, and that's understandable. It's all about capacity, and I hope that we can all still participate, as it is one spirit, one heart. So, whether women are going to participate just by themselves or perhaps together, or writing their story down and trying to encompass that story. I know for me personally, I've really struggled with what would I want to represent my story in one statement, and that can be a really good part of, for me, a healing process of going, hey, I need to compress it all down and share my story, and encourage other women to share their stories. And
there is a real power in that sharing of that story, and and it's like the antidote to shame. I feel that it is a very hard thing, and a very individual thing to choose to share that. But if it is something that is right for you, then it can be so powerful to let it see the light, let it have that light, and it kind of loses power a bit when you can do that. Can you tell us a bit more about the yarning, and what's this going to look like on the day?
Well, Auntie Tanya Keed is the driving force behind the yarning, behind Yarrambulam, but also the yarning circle, which, because we weren't Aboriginal women, we thought it was more appropriate to call it a healing circle. But I think that's, I don't know, it's a difficult one to know. Should we say yarning when we're not Aboriginal women, or just healing? But it will look like. Sorry, I got a bit.
That is a really interesting point. Yeah, should we call it? Should we call it yarning? Does yarning have a very in some places it does have a very special, unique meaning?
Very, very special, and we didn't want to give the impression that we were Indigenous women, in case that was sort of like a disappointment for some people to not feel like we were being. I don't know. We just decided it was more appropriate because we're not Indigenous women. The day we will have a welcome to country, and at the end of the day we'll have a cleansing ceremony, or an acknowledgement of country, sorry. I hope it's a welcome to country. And at the end of the day will be the cleansing ceremony, which was actually something that Sherelle spoke about with, I believe, she got the advice from... I've lost it now, but it was something that was said to Sherelle. It would be really great that once women share their stories, that they have this healing process, because
and let it go. Yeah,
sharing these stories is So we're going to pass the microphone around. All women are welcome, especially queer women, all the LGBTQ I+ women, and men are also welcome who want to just participate and even share stories on behalf of women who have been murdered. We're not trying to say that it's exclusive, but it is about women, as a woman is murdered by their partner, a man known to her, every 4 days.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's so everybody is invited. Absolutely, all women are invited.
Absolutely.
And men, if they are there just to support women or are there to centre women in those stories, are also welcome. That's fantastic. You did mention that there is a mix on the organising committees of Indigenous and non-Indigenous people, and so there seems to be there's a collaboration happening there. Can you tell us a bit more about the importance of that collaboration?
As a Euro-Australian, I can't truly understand the importance, but from my perspective, we all know that First Nations women have been left out of the political feminist discourse about gendered violence. We know Aboriginal women face higher levels of violence, femicide, homicide, but they are often secondary in public discussion and response, often not even at the table. For example, political leaders are more likely to listen to the parents of white women killed and change laws swiftly around those deaths, but black women are denied the opportunity to be listened to and acknowledged, let alone have policy rolled out to reflect their experiences of abuse and violence. So the importance of centering Indigenous women, I think, is the same importance we have in all types of systemic oppression, housing, education, health. Without centering Indigenous people's experiences, we're not doing the right thing. And so that's how I feel, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners feel the same.
You mentioned politicians. I did see in the media statement that politicians, political leaders have been invited to come along, but they've been invited to come along and listen, which I thought was amazing. That they're invited to come along and listen rather than invited to come along and have a platform for their own means. Are you expecting to see any come and listen?
I am expecting them to come and listen. So we have a Conservative politician coming. We have an LNP politician coming. We have Labor politicians coming, and we have our loyal supporter from the Greens coming. So we have Trina, we have Rima. They're always there as a backbone. The Greens are always there to support us with resources. And so are other politicians and other groups, but with the Greens, it's always a yes, and if it's not a yes, it's a call a different office. So having politicians there and not speaking was something that we did really want to do with the rally as well, but we were trying to sort of, butter the bread to sort of say, hey, we need you in this conversation, please come. And I do have the names of those politicians, I believe.
That's all right. We don't need to name them. They'll be there. They get enough publicity. That's okay. But and awesome that you always have that support of the Greens, but also fantastic that you've got support, across different parties. That's amazing, because it is an issue that affects all.
And also people. The socialists, the communists, they're always there in support. They're always willing to give the little that they have as well, which it's in everybody's business. So whether they belong there or not is not really a debate. It's everybody needs to be talking about this. And
what are you hoping to come out of this?
I'm hoping to show, we are hoping to show that it's okay to tell your stories. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to cry. I cry a lot. At the drop of a hat, I'm done not crying about things. I think also people knowing that there are different ways to help women and help victims, survivors of intimate partnered violence, that don't have to be the systems that are already in place. They're failing. They're failing Indigenous women. They're failing incarcerated people, and they're failing people who don't fit the mould. So we're hoping that the politicians will really take account of what Auntie Tanya's vision is, not just for Yarrumbulum, but just for yarning as well, because the centre Yarrumbulum was offering a sort of space where women can sort of release these things. It was also a big focus on sensory stuff at this centre and acknowledging also neurodivergency. A lot of women and people on the neurodivergent spectrum are more likely to experience abuse from their partners as well. So we want to talk about all of those sorts of things and just show people that we haven't forgotten about them and that we want to participate in family, domestic and family violence awareness in a way that focuses on Indigenous women and Indigenous culture, because they're the women who are being left behind.
Okay.
Thank you so much for coming on, Affi. And in the last little bit of our show today, we'd like to ask you about some of the other organisations who are invited to the Yarn Circle.
Well, it's a big honour to be here, and obviously Megaherzzz is invited. Also, other services that are supporting us off the top of my head are the Brisbane Rape and Incest BRISC, the Brisbane Rape and Incest Centre, the Immigrant Women's Support Service, Open Doors, DV Prevention Centre, 1-800-RESPECT are some of the people that are supporting us and attending on the day, as well as just people from other organisations just volunteering their time.
Fantastic. And the final thing, can you just, for people who have listened to this conversation and realise that maybe that's something that would help them and something that's important to attend, can you just let everyone know one more time, the location, how they can support?
So the time is 12 p.m. on October the 25th, this Saturday. The location is the Parliament Speaker's Corner. So that is Parliament House, just at the corner of Botang and the university there. So it should be wheelchair access, should be public transport friendly, and you can support by attending and listening. You can support by speaking. You can support by, perhaps if you can't attend on the day, you would like to volunteer, please feel free to contact myself or the support email. So that email is support@theredheartcampaign.org, and a lot of us have access to that email, including Sherelle Moody from Sherelle Moody's Femicide Watch. And if you would like to support it financially, Sherelle is always selling merch, providing opportunities to give, and there are other events that Sherelle is supporting this month and next month as well. So there's always another event if for whatever reason. Yeah, and I would just say to any women or anyone really who thinks, hey, is what I'm experiencing a form of abuse, is to be kind to yourself. I would hold your cards close if you don't feel safe. Never let someone who you don't feel safe around know what your next step is, and to reach out to services like the DV Prevention Centre. And just keep trying. If you get that wall, keep trying and realise that you have to open up to yourself. I think shame is a big thing that holds a lot of survivors back from their freedom of whatever they're experiencing, and that it's not your fault. I would always say it's not your fault.
Thank you so much, Affi. And so just welcome. For if anyone needs it, the hotline is TV hotline is 1-800-RESPECT, 1-800-737-732. That's 1-800-737-732. Please call if you need that service. We've come to the end of the show. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time. And
thank you everybody for listening to Megaherzzz, and do go along on the 25th and support that, and support other people as well. Be there and hold space.
Isn't that what feminism is about?